also mentioned we're looking at a more technologically developed employee base, and we
want a team. We want a team that's going to be primarily focused on taking over the website, and that they're going to be completely devoted to being able to apply that website and make it accessible as well as appealing for everybody that would like to access it.
Including some sort of descriptions for international people. Maybe they don't even know what taffy is, but once they try it, we need to really make them want to try it.
And branching off of what Kishan just said, there are some cultures in the world, obviously, that are intolerant to some parts of taffy, such as, I know in India they don't have gelatin, and some people can't eat gelatin. And so we allocated 20% of our budget to increases in facilities and just infrastructure of our company. And so 20% of this will be divided up into our actual production equipment, because since we're expanding into a global market, obviously we need more taffy production, and so that's what some of our money will go to. The other percentage of our money will go to developing adaptations of different flavors, because this is, after all, a mix of different flavors of taffies, and so we will try to accommodate different cultures around the world that try different flavors, which is also something that Kishan said. Another part that I'm talking about is distribution, and obviously we need to have close ties with globally distributing companies such as FedEx, and in order to send our taffy out to different countries. Also promotion of our website. We're going to try to translate it into different languages so people of different countries can also access it more easily. And finally, our evaluation. We decided that at the end of 1 year, because that will give us ample time to really look back into our profits and see how we're doing. The end of 1 year, we'll evaluate ourselves, and we'll also have some outside sources evaluating us and seeing if this indeed solve our problem of decreasing revenue. And if this didn't, we will probably go back to the drawing board and just kind of think of new ideas, but I'm sure this will, because this is a solid plan. And so if this does work, then next year and years to come, we'll probably expand, have different products and different flavors, and expand to more people.
Okay, so you're saying this goes in between the staffing and the R&D stuff you were talking about, where you're trying to outreach to other cultures. How do you propose you do that? Can you give a few specifics about like different kinds of flavors? What do you think?
Well, we were thinking of adopting, taffy is really an American thing, is what we think. And so, countries around the world don't really, recognize what taffy is. So we're thinking of adopting more tropical flavors such as mango or something like that, so it can be more accessible to other countries that have developed taste buds for those flavors.
One of the things that we were talking about is that since, the thing about taffy is that we primarily, right now, in the United States, we only really sell to coastlines. However, we could really go inland. So what we could do with that is, while we're developing these new flavors that can apply and appeal to people that live on the coastline in other countries, we can also try to see if people landlocked inland places would also be interested in trying something that maybe they haven't had the opportunity to try yet. So by opening up the possibility of generating revenue from all over the place, that way we can create better sales.
And obviously, we realize that we have to spend lots of money to get here, but you have to spend money to make money, and so that's why our budget is like this.
Okay, let's just say you have this 1 year. 1 year goes by, and you're at 29% decline, right on the edge of layoffs. What's your plan of action?
Well, we really need to look exactly what the trends are going at right now. So if it's a steady increase and it's really, really approaching that 30% layoffs, we need to step back and evaluate. However, if it's sort of like we can tell that it's about to turn around, maybe give it a few more months, maybe make a few more changes, but we don't want to do something hugely drastic right away, like firing a bunch of people if it looks like it's going to work.
So how can you give a few more specifics about the actual evaluation? It's like how are you going to divide? Shut up. Okay, how are you going to divide the actual, like, how do you know if it's a problem with distribution? How do you know if it's a problem with the actual development, or it's just like the marketing? How would you figure that out?
Well, obviously we'll see that, okay, other countries aren't really buying our products, And so, we'll see that, okay, distribution is a problem. Or we also decided that we would do a first hired, first fired basis. If it comes to that at the end of 1 year, the people that we just hired recently, we would probably let go first because they're not as essential to our infrastructure. But, we would sit down and decide which parts, I guess.
Worth, any questions?
Can I tell them what they could have responded to your question?
Yeah.
You could have said something like surveys. It's very simple. You kind of just said, we'll just look at the part where something happened wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't answer his question at all. You kind of just said, okay, if it's transportation, we'll do first hired, first fired, but you didn't evaluate where you're get your problem from. You could have a survey of your customers and be like, so what part of our experience could we make better? Or something like that. So that'll like directly answer your judge's question.
Yeah.
The survey's good.
Put a survey on our website.
Huh?
You could put a survey on our website.
Little 1-minute surveys. I had an example in mind. Like, I usually always try to find examples, but I don't know if that really helps. Because I guess.
Yeah, I was thinking, try to think of an example, but I couldn't. I was thinking like sample set or something, like they're common or that bad. When you're saying the landlocked thing and like, couldn't think of anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask questions, even though time is way up. So what happens if? Okay, let's just say 1 year passes and it's actually a 31% decline, and layoffs happen. What are who are you gonna lay off? Who are you gonna tell the president to lay off? And would you lay off someone from every single part, or would you say that one section of the distribution, packaging, marketing, something like that is more important than something else?
Well, we think that seniority with the company is a big factor in international business, and so we would keep the people who have been there a while.
And why would you say seniority rules?
Because
It's
this
a
is
family-owned
it's a family-owned
business.
business. And right now, they're going to be very close with the people they've been working with. Of course, because it's family-owned, they have that connection with each other, with their employees, and family-owned businesses have a tendency to be closer knit than, say, a corporation. But at the same time, we don't want to go straight and immediately fire the people who we need to run the website, to translate languages and things like that. So we need to really evaluate exactly what our problems are, and we don't want to fire all from one department, of course, but we don't also want to fire people who have been loyal to us.
We
Aren't
still
the
want to.
senior members the ones that have screwed up? And
Not
got it down
necessarily.
to 26%?
Not necessarily because
The seashore taffy tourist attractions.
part of that can also be because of the global recession at the moment, but also because they haven't tried this idea of expanding yet, and maybe they have abilities and skills that they haven't had the opportunity to use.
Considering most of our workers are blue-collar workers, they don't really make those decisions, so they're doing what they're doing correctly.
Why is that funny?
When you talk, it's like an elitist.
How do I fix that?
I don't know. Move to the ghetto. Okay, that's going to be on the video. But, okay.
It's gonna be hard.
One big problem I have the entire time is you mentioned Taffy of the Month once. That's the entire question. It's asking you a plan for marketing of the Taffy of the Month. You need to give specifics, like, I still have no idea what Taffy of the Month means. Does that mean, you just, pick a random, you just, dip in, have a vat of taffy, and just pick one, and it's like, this is some random flavor, and then you just give it that title. Maybe you take a picture of it and post it on a bulletin board somewhere. I don't know. So you want to say why, you want to give 30, it's really open-ended. So you want to give 30 seconds of what you say Taffy of the Month means. I still don't understand, because you guys said, the only thing I hear from you guys, I'm talking like I'm judging it. Alright, the only thing I hear from you guys is really that Taffy of the Month is something that will be accessible to all nations. What does that mean? I have no idea. What if only one flavor is accessible to all nations? Then that means that it's Taffy of the
Are there going to be different taffy
forever.
of the months for different nations because all nations wouldn't want the same flavor?
That's probably one of the biggest questions you need to answer, because that's